If you clicked on this video, you probably want to know why you should be playing The Outer Worlds in 2024. In The Outer Worlds, where corporations rule everything, in the vast open RPG, you have the power to shape the destiny of Halcyon, a colony on the edge of the galaxy. You can explore breathtaking landscapes, encounter diverse characters, and unravel a captivating storyline that changes the very fabric of society. So let's get started. First, we're going to be talking about the gameplay/gunplay. The Outer Worlds is more than just gunplay and shooting enemies. The game allows for multiple gameplay styles, including run and gun, speech, and sneak. This will provide players with a range of options and strategies during combat and during dialogue, which the game has a very heavy narrative game, so there are a lot of speech options which you can use intimidation or bribery or anything like that. The arsenal that you also have access to is actually insane, from rifles to heavy guns to grenade launchers to more miniguns to shotguns to pistols to swords to clubs. The amount of weapons that you can get in the Outer Worlds is actually crazy, and it gives you a massive variety of different builds and of different skill sets. How you build your character in the character customization and as you level up will also dramatically affect your gameplay, from if you want to put it all into melee or if you want to put it all into speech or gunplay or sneak or anything like that. It allows for a high degree of customization and can significantly affect the gameplay and give massive replayability as well. All the guns in the Outer Worlds also feel good to use. The weight and the impact of the guns is also a pleasant surprise, and it is more satisfying than the older Fallouts like Fallout New Vegas, which Obsidian also made, and the similar praise I would give to the melee weapons as well. They're fun to just swing, especially when you get criticals and you just explode the enemies into piles of goo. It's honestly awesome. Next, we're going to be talking about the RPG mechanics and replayability in the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is filled with many robust RPG mechanics, including a wealth of character customization options. When you level up, you get 10 points to pour into your character stat sheet, allowing for a high degree of customization. This will affect your gameplay and allow for multiple gameplay styles. The Outer Worlds also involves making entertaining moral decisions, which will add an extra layer of depth to the gameplay. You're free to play the Freedom Fighter or Corporate Shill, but quest outcomes are frequently messy and unexpected, where an entire town could be killed or saved, or it's all up to you, honestly. Like, there's so many different ways that you can handle a situation in this game. Obsidian really put the time into just giving you as many options as possible, and I love the game for that. The game also has several endings, which adds to replayability as well. Your choices throughout the game can lead to different outcomes and even smaller outcomes, encouraging players to replay the game to explore different paths. And then one of my fan favorite things in the Outer Worlds is the companion stories. They have their own stories too. They aren't as meaningful as like Mass Effect companions, but they regularly chip in on conversations, they'll have quests to do, and they'll add another layer of depth and replayability to the game, which means if you go with, say, Felix and Ellie for one playthrough, maybe next playthrough you'll want to go with Sam and Parvati. Next, we're going to be talking about the characters and companions in the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds features 6 different companions that you can recruit for your crew: Parvati, Vicar Max, Felix, Ellie, Nyoka, and Sam. All 6 of the companions, except Sam, will have their own opinions on what you do in the game. They will leave or stay with your crew depending on if you kill someone or don't kill someone. The outcomes of the faction quests that you make will affect their standing with you and their opinion of you. And they also have so much dialogue and just so much lore behind each companion. Honestly, Obsidian put so much time into each companion. My favorite would be Felix, because each companion also has their own little special move that you can do by using the D-pad, and Felix fucking dropkicks people, and I love that. The contributions to the combat that the companions give you as well is actually insane. They can significantly help. I've been in such situations where I'm just getting screwed over by enemies and aliens, and then the companions just come to save me, either by shooting them or if I use their special abilities that can give me an edge while I can slow down time and then finish the enemy off. Honestly, they're huge helps. And there are also perks associated with being solo or with being with companions, so it's useful to know that if you want to play a loner or if you want to play with a full squad. And since you can have 2 companions at once, having a combination of, say, Parvati and Sam having an engineer and a robot, each combination will give you your own unique dialogue, which even adds more to replayability of what we talked about earlier. I probably have played this game for over 40, 50, 60 hours. I still haven't seen all the dialogue from each companion, honestly. I still hear new things when I'm playing, and it's so funny because some of the stuff they say is hilarious. Like I said earlier, each companion also has their own interesting story and character development, and they also have personal quests that allow you to learn more about them as you progress in the game. Next, we're going to be talking about the world, or galaxy actually, of the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds actually has a pretty unique setting when you think about it. The game takes place in a solar system-wide colony, ruled by corporate feudalism, and filled with dark. Everywhere you look, there's a satirical slogan or crazy-eyed mascot, a worker being treated as hilariously disposable, and oppressive propaganda and policies keeping everyone in line, which honestly, Obsidian did amazing here. They really excelled at bringing this world to life. The Outer Worlds also empowers the player to make choices that other games usually would not, which feels incredibly rewarding in practice. It's good to feel like your character is supported by the fiction, and where you can just be evil or good, and where you'd usually get from like a tabletop role-playing game, but you won't be able to do that. Where a lot of RPGs nowadays, you usually play the good guy. Outer Worlds, you can be a total corporate asshole and kill everyone and just enslave the entire colony and do some really wacky shit, but it's awesome that Obsidian really went with you can be a hero and you can be a straight up villain. The Outer Worlds also has a very immersive world. The world building, dude, it's fantastic. And everything about the writing is what you come to expect from a studio with the reputation of Obsidian, who write amazing games. And the unique settings to explore, oh my god. The Outer Worlds has so many unique settings. There's so many cool biomes you can find, especially in the DLC, and the characters particularly are a lot of fun. Next, we're going to be talking about the art style and graphics. The Outer Worlds has such a unique art style that actually reminds me of Fallout. It reminds me of a 50s kind of game like Fallout is, but with a very futuristic feel as well, and it's the colorful environments as well. Like honestly, that's the skyboxes as well. When you look up and you see the planets and you see ships flying over, it's gorgeous. I'm telling you, the good use of effects as well, and the graphics as well. And I haven't played the next gen version of the game myself. I've only still been playing on the Xbox One version that runs at 60 FPS on the Series X. But still, it still looks gorgeous, even in 4K as well. Like, holy shit, it is a feast for the eyes. Next, we're going to be talking about the exploration in Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds offers a variety of quests that are both engaging and often involve morally gray local conflicts. This will encourage players to explore different areas and interact with various characters. And trust me, you definitely want to explore the smaller towns in certain spots, as you can find some pretty funny quests and pretty funny families, I would say, or characters that have some, messed up backstories, or, you might not want to be there, or you might want to be properly geared if you're going to go into certain houses, because when you're just exploring and you enter rooms, you can find some characters doing some funny shit. The game also features diverse locations, from mountains to industrial asteroid bases of Gorgon in the DLC, to the largely abandoned, creepily Abros Manor. The settings keep the exploration from keeping one note, where it's just one big grass plain or just one big rock. Every single different planet has so much color and so much variety to it. Honestly, Obsidian did a fantastic job, especially considering this isn't like a really big game. They didn't have a AAA budget. This is technically a AA game. And it's also very familiar if you've played Fallout. The format is very familiar to anyone who's ever played a Fallout game, especially Fallout 4 in New Vegas. It's being familiar can make exploration more enjoyable for some players, because you know what you're doing. It's not just completely new to some people. Next, we're going to be talking about the main story in the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds' main story is really good for many good reasons. One would be the engaging plot. The game's main story is very engaging, with a lot of surprising twists along the way. It intertwines personal stakes with broader philosophical themes, and an interesting setting as well. It takes place in a solar system-wide colony ruled by the corporate feudalism I said earlier, filled with a lot of dark humor. There's a lot of impactful choices as well. The game's main dilemmas ask you to side with one faction against another, towns against others, militias against militias. The game also has multiple endings, which adds to the replayability, and your choices throughout the game can lead to different outcomes, and the amount of humor that is in this game is actually kind of crazy. It's unexpected, right? Like, a lot of it can be morbid and dark, depending on your taste. You can do some messed up stuff. Last but certainly not least, we're going to be talking about the DLC content in Outer Worlds. The first DLC expansion to release for the Outer Worlds was Peril on Gorgon. It's a fairly big chunk of side adventure that took about 8 hours of playthrough for me to get through at least. The story drops a shocking revelation about Spacer's Choice, one of the big corporations in the game, and its drug-pushing pharmaceutical research operation. The quest takes mostly on the mountainous industrial asteroid base of Gorgon, but also sends you on quests to other new locations around the Hyperion system. It's a pretty good story with a handful of intriguing characters, and you also have your companions that can make comments as well. But in the end, you get to make one of Obsidian's trademark morally great decisions to determine how it turns out, which honestly, Obsidian is the master of that. The second DLC expansion, which I liked a bit more, was Murder on Erdanos. It turns the Outer Worlds into a sci-fi detective game, which, I love detective games, honestly, especially in Fallout 4 with Nick Valentine. I love Nick. The game plays to its strengths of its characters and writing. This is a very narratively heavy DLC. The DLC is more intimate and local, that has you following a trail of clues around a series of colorful floating islands, and with the big hotel in the middle, as you can see in the gameplay right now. It's a pretty good send-off to the RPG as well. Not the best, I would say, but it's a very strong ending to finishing off the first Outer Worlds game while we wait for the second one. And depending on how you play through the game, it can take up to 8 to 10 hours, which honestly, for $20 worth for both of these DLCs to get another 20 hours of content is pretty insane. And that's the end of the video. If this video convinced you or makes you want to try out this game, honestly, I've done my job. I adored this game when it came out in 2019. I'm a massive fan of Obsidian. I'm a massive fanboy of Obsidian. So any game that they make, I am just hyped for. I'm hyped for Avowed. I'm hyped for the second Outer Worlds game. And I will cap for any game that they ever make, as long as it is actually good. But if you did enjoy this video, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Have you played this game? Did you enjoy it? Do you agree with what I'm saying? And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.